mention something that I kind of touched on yesterday, but it happened in Chicago. We were talking about something that I found really interesting. I've been really kind of meditating and thinking about it, and I think it's important to keep remembering why we create. And just 2 points to it. One is I think it's important in our very social media obsessed culture to not get, everybody here is forging their own path. There is no path except for the path you're currently on. And your path is supposed to be uniquely different than anybody else's. I know it's easy to covet somebody else's social media, curation of how amazing their life is, and we're like, God, if I just had that. But it's not, nobody's path is clear of all the things that you think their paths are clear of. It's just, I think that's just the great snow job that we as human beings do to ourselves. Like, if only I had this or only I had that, and then we don't really honor and revere our own sacred journey. And I think and I get it, I struggle with that all the time too. The shoulds and the coulds and the comparisons and the woulds, and I find that to be a zero-sum game. And the more I just really keep blessing the crazy detours and the crazy up and downs of like my path and walking it every single day is really what a blessed life is about. And I think if you see all the circuitous routes you've taken to get where you are, all things have been in order. That doesn't mean they've been without pain and confusion and turmoil and upset, but it has all led you to exactly this moment. So I always find that in spite or because of all the craziness, all things are also kind of always working out for us in some strange way, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing which is equally important about honoring your path is about honoring your path toward creativity. And like, why are we creating? And we talked about this a lot yesterday about not getting stuck on the cultural. I'm really big at breaking myths around the sort of the societal cues we take, and I think it's really damaging, and it's not good for our mental health, and it's also just not good for the planet. But I think in Chicago, we were talking about how, okay, we create for ourselves. This is important, and we want to try to ground ourselves into, why do you want to create? The stories you want to tell, the way you want to express yourself, the workshops you want to do, or the plays you want to write, or the acting you want to engage in, whatever it is, whatever form of creativity it is, think about it. It's not selfish. It's an extension, an expression, a divination, a channeling of something greater that you feel like you want to just get out, play with, explore, share. So you're doing it for self, and by doing it for yourself, by extension, then you're doing it for others. You're a small group of friends, then it might become a community. So therefore, doing it for self is also doing it for culture. However, we don't take our cues from culture. And that's where I think, to be an artist, is to really wake us up to, I'm not taking cues about my own creative life from culture anymore. And I actually don't think real artists ever did. Think about it. Artists in our lives, well, I wasn't around in the first century, so I don't know. But here I'm venturing forth to think, and I do believe this, stuff I've read, and just, here's the thing. Artists have traditionally been the teachers, the healers, the poets, sometimes the intermediaries, the seekers, the seers, the leaders, the entertainers, the fools. But that's not a pejorative. The fool is like the jester, we get to understand humanity through the person who plays. And somewhere along the line, the artist has been relegated as something less than, I think, that reverence. I don't think artists are better than anybody else. I actually always maintain that everybody's an artist, except many people are very scared to actually inhabit and express their inner artist. And that's also because of culture. Because culture is telling us, you have to be this. Actually, culture doesn't revere artistry. They revere now, maybe it's always been this way, money and power, or perceived power. And nowadays in our culture, perceived power comes from all kinds of, if you think about it, we think people who becomes clickbait people, or social media influencers who just have billions of followers, God bless them. All of a sudden, those are kind of like the perceived positions that we want to be in. And then I started thinking about like, oh my God, game show hosts and like reality stars become presidents. It's kind of insane. And then I started thinking about like, whoa, when we take our cues from culture, think about it, we're really taking cues from corporate America. And I'm complicit in it, but it's really like destroying the planet when you think about it. Everybody knows I joked yesterday, I love socks. Today's kind of boring. I mean, it's kind of nice, it matches my outfit, but I love socks. But look at how many socks I buy. I mean, I don't need 60 pair of socks. I don't know how many I have, but I like 3 or 4, maybe 5 would be enough. But we take our cues by what corporate and their media machine tells us we should buy and we should look like and sound like, and it's really disastrous when you look at it. So then we just start consuming and then also comparing ourselves to what the corporate model is telling us is fashionable or cool or likable or popular. And so then all of a sudden our own inner, your own inner creative muse that's telling you to create like this and do this thing for yourself, all of a sudden gets co-opted because culture or the cues we're taking would never think that's cool or interesting or popular or important. So that's what's dangerous, you guys. Does everybody understand? We have to create for ourselves. You have to create, you have to be brave enough to be like, this is what I want to share with the world. You know, in our building in LA, the pandemic happened, so I haven't done it yet, but I love this idea of create the thing you wish existed. And I think that's how we have to think about creativity. That's your birthright. That's who you are as a creator. So I want us to remember that as we move forward today. Thank you for being here early. And remember why you're doing it. Keep grounding yourself in why you're doing it. And I think that's a great question to write down and keep asking. Why are you creating? Why do you want to act? Why do you want to do this thing that you feel like you have a calling for? And if we can keep coming back to the real reasons why, you won't be distracted or burnt out or scared of or intimidated or make yourself feel bad if all the other external things aren't quite always like landing or coming together the way you think they should. That is not the reason really why we're doing it. One last thing, I will say, because I said it yesterday a lot, I'm not saying that those things are bad in terms of like, of course we have successful studios everywhere, people are working all the time or are famous or whatever. It is all about creating work and being able to pay your bills for doing that thing that you want to create. It doesn't have to be, two separate tracks here. But I think you find that the latter becomes more fulfilled when you get back to the real reason why you're doing it. Because then you get to those places of you don't give a F. I'll just say it. You don't give a fuck. It's too early. You start creating for the reason why you want to create. And then you go into the audition and you're freed up to do it. Got it? Sounds so easy, doesn't it?